Hey Queens, it's time for a heart check. So one way that we handle conflict in our relationship is not going to bed mad at each other. That means we're not going to sleep.
Right.
I call it husband and wife talk. And typically when he hear that, he do that chuckle right there because it's game time.
Right.
So giving each other that time to say whatever is in front of us, we have to talk about the solution to that problem. So we're fighting against the problem and not fighting each other.
Right.
Is that how I say it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's so important to practice fighting fair. So to me, and we never had a problem with this, but when you fight fair, you want to fight like you love this person, but you have a disagreement with this person. So this
Right.
looks different. So for me, it's approaching you with the respect that I know that you deserve as my husband and as a person, as well as, not raising my voice, not hitting below the belt, but coming to you, expressing how I feel with the I statements, maybe, as well as how do we get through that?
Right.
So, what the solutions can be,
Right.
right?
Right. Right.
So, don't sit in that problem too long. We both identify what it was. Let's think of solutions and let's sometimes disagree,
Right.
agree to
And
disagree.
that's fine to do. That's
That's
fine to
fine to
do.
do, but you're
Yeah.
not gonna go to bed mad either,
Right.
right?
Right.
If you agree to disagree, you let it go, you forgive the situation, and you wake up the next day with a fresh start.
I agree. I think you hit the nail on the head when you said like we're not going to bed sleep or mad at each other because again you never know what can happen overnight.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
you don't want to have that on your conscience. So anything that needs to be addressed, we address it head on. And I think that another big thing is coming into that situation with solutions rather than problems from that standpoint.
yeah,
Like we're gonna address certain things, but that professional mindset of like let's focus on the solutions rather than the situation at hand. The
right.
situation, it is what it is.
Mhm,
Where do we go from here?
mhm,
You know what I'm saying? So that's key. And I think the last one is something that I think took me time to develop as I got older is like you said, one other thing was, sometimes you have to agree to disagree, which is fine too.
yeah,
Like stay above the belt, no low blows. Sometimes you just don't have a response in that moment. You
right.
know what I'm saying? So rather than trying to um like clap back because you in your feelings, like, and I'm saying this because you might be on the receiving end of something that is difficult to discuss.
Yeah,
So sometimes you just might have to, what, babe, like I really don't have an answer for you. Give me a minute. Let me think about this. So before I respond, you know what I'm saying? Because I don't want to be talking just to be talking. Like, let
mhm,
me gather my thoughts. Let me think about this. Let it simmer for a little bit, and let me come back to you with a solution rather than in the heat of the moment type
response.
of response that may or may not be effective.
Absolutely. And I'm glad you said that because I think one of my opportunities that I had to learn from is being able to address the issue early on.
Hmm.
With me being a suppressor of feelings, of not wanting to hurt other people's feelings, avoiding the conflict. So I would fester all of those feelings, and then I could have a somewhat blow
A
up
blow
moment.
up, yeah,
And it looked different from me. It wasn't your typical blow up where I'm just cussing everybody out. It's just like a mental breakdown moment. Like,
yeah,
I feel this way, and it could be over something so minute. So it's
yeah,
very important to just address those concerns, issues early on. Don't let them pile up because the small issues can then lead into bigger issues or
right,
conflicts over time.
right. And I definitely saw the growth in you from that standpoint. That's a thing of the past,
Yeah.
which is a good thing.
If all else fails and you and your partner cannot get through the conflict on your own, I recommend seeking professional help. So seek that professional counselor, therapist, or even a life or relationship coach that can help both of you facilitate through those tough conversations and provide you with the tools and resources you need to thrive within your relationship.
I agree. You know what I'm saying? Just to chime in from that standpoint, like sometimes you need a moderator, somebody who not close to either one of you just to just listen in and just be a sounding board because sometimes you could be talking at somebody
Yeah.
and it's not, you're not receiving it. You know what I'm saying? Because y'all both strong on how you feel about a certain
Mm-hmm.
situation. So sometimes it's good to kind of have somebody who can just listen in and get some sound advice, and either seeking help through a life coach like yourself, or a relationship coach like yourself, or a therapist from that standpoint, depending on the situation, I think is key. And it's definitely cheaper to go that route than the other route, because if you end up getting a divorce, that you're giving up 50% of everything from that
Yeah.
standpoint. So invest in your relationship, invest in the help that you need to kind of get through those difficult times, and understand that you're not alone in that situation. And a lot of people do things like that for the ones that they love. So don't think that something is wrong with you, but look at the growth and moving forward, within your relationship and everything from that standpoint. So definitely seek that help.
Yeah. And my thing is, I always ask my clients, especially those who may be seeking a divorce, have you went through all of the extreme, like the appropriate channels
Right.
before you said, I
Right.
want to end it?
Right.
And if you have not sought any professional help,
Mm-hmm.
because you are not the expert in your relationship,
Mm-hmm.
especially if you're not equipped with the tools and resources,
Right.
then I will dare you, or I push you, challenge you to actually take that extra measure
Right.
to see if if that will help at all. So
Absolutely. I think that's how you solve any problem in life. Like, you want to make sure that you exhaust all your options first. You know what
yeah,
I'm saying? So if you haven't, why not? Give it a try.
you have to give it a try.
Yeah.
And then after, and throughout that process, it is so important for you to practice forgiveness.
Mm-hmm.
And I say practice because some of us just don't have it in us to forgive easily, like to hold burdens. But for me, is in order to actually succeed in your relationship, to thrive, to evolve, to grow, to learn with each other, to get through the conflicts, you have to let go of the past. So if it's something stemming from only a day ago, you got to be able to let that go and focus on rebuilding trust that present day and the days moving forward. So I'm not a big fan of holding grudges at all. So just
Let me
forgive.
just stop right there for a second, like, because I know eh, everybody is not equipped to forgive like that.
Yeah, I
You know
know.
what I'm saying? So what would you say to people out there who struggling to forget like they want to, but it's just something in them that make them think about the situation that hurt them, and they just can't let it go. Like they bringing it back up. It come back up at random times. So I put it like this: sometimes things can be going well, and then as soon as you hit a bump in the road,
Hmm.
then boom, that situation come back up. Like we've seen that several times, in a lot of different situations with other people, and just hearing, certain things in their relationships. So, what would you say to people who struggle with that forgiveness part? Like, what worked for you,
Hmm.
and the advice that you could give somebody else in that situation on how to just let go and forgive?
To me, it's simple. And the first thing first is putting a mirror to your face.
Mm.
Like, put that mirror on your own face and tell me if you don't have any flaws. And if you can tell me that, maybe, okay, this person isn't for you. Maybe you are the perfect person that God created, just like him.
Right, right,
And I
right.
don't
I
think that's
doubt it.
ever going to
I
be the
doubt it.
case. So, once you can identify that you are also flawed within yourself, instead of looking at other people's flaws, I always recommend, how about you work on yours?
Mm.
And maybe that will help you not only forgive that person, but it will also you are also in a space then to start forgiving yourself.
Right,
That's
right,
the most important
right,
thing, to
right.
forgive yourself for allowing yourself to feel those negative feelings and thoughts towards somebody else,
Mm.
because it cripples you eventually.
That's good. That's so well said. Like, I love it.
A healthy marriage means a marriage with open communication. So, feeling safe to express your thoughts, your emotions, needs without fear of judgment. For me, that is so important. No matter what I'm feeling, no matter the emotions, I am able to come to this man to say, I am having a bad day. Have grace, hold me accountable, because I may show out on somebody, don't
Yeah.
I? But just being able to come to him in that safe space, and he does not judge me. He does not make me feel like I'm doing something wrong. He validates my feelings, and he gives me the safe space to express them. So that's the most important thing. Secondly is teamwork within a marriage, right? So teamwork to me, and I know back in the day you had your husband role and then your wife role, but in our relationship, we've tried to create a partnership.
Right.
So we try to do things together, whether it's, of course, we're both working on our businesses, but outside of that, how can we as partners take care of the household? So going to the grocery store together, meal prepping or preparing dinners together. Not only is that a way to spend quality time, but it gives us a space to say we are partners in every aspect of our life, and we tackle different challenges together, no matter what they are, and get through them.
Right.
Next, a healthy marriage requires growth and growth and evolution. Let me say that because you want to encourage each other, professional and personal growth. So if you see your partner stagnant in any way in their life, either it's physically, mentally, spiritually, being able to encourage them in their growth along the way. So we've always tag team in our relationship. It was certain parts where he was finishing up college where I paused to take care of the kids. And then I went back to school, but we always encouraged each other to grow and never let ourselves sit in a stagnant moment within our relationship in the different seasons, no matter how bad they got.
I agree. We've always pushed each other at different times of our life. I think it's very important to support each other dreams and aspirations from that
Yeah.
standpoint, because at the end of the day, I want to see her be the best version of herself. So if it's anything that I can do to help her in that particular space, then I'm gonna do it. And the feeling is reciprocal from that standpoint. She's always been in my corner anytime I decided to take on any type of new adventures or business opportunities from that standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
And just the growth in individuals collectively, I think over time you continuously evolve. So being in a relationship, being in a marriage, you have to understand this new individual that you're looking at,
Yeah.
because nobody stays the same from that standpoint. So you always have to be in a, or have that mindset that I got to get to know this version of, my spouse, you know what I'm saying? Because we constantly evolving, never staying the same from that standpoint. So you got to get to know them. You got to date the new version
Yeah.
of, Racine from that standpoint, because you're not the same person that I met when I was younger. You're not the same person that I met in our 30s from that standpoint.
Right.
So taking time to really understand what you like now
Mm-hmm.
versus what you liked in the past, I think is important to keep that relationship fresh.
Yeah.
Keep it growing and just developing from that standpoint, because you don't want things to kind of get old. So to keep it fresh, like continuously learn who this version of that spouse or significant other is, and be supportive and cherish those moments and memories from that
You have
standpoint.
to. And that's the intentional effort, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have to be intentional in every aspect of your significant other's growth.
Right. Right.
Um, and that's showing up for them, but that's also holding them accountable.
Yeah.
So being intentional about holding you accountable to what you say your goals are.
Right.
And I don't come from a life coach. Maybe I do. Maybe I do have on my life coach hat with you because you used to say I had on my HR hat.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's still me always pushing you to be the best you
Right.
can be, and also making sure that you keep pressing forward to accomplish those goals. So it's a lot of intentional effort on a day to day.
Absolutely.
Another aspect of a healthy relationship is being able to share joy with each other. So that's celebrating life moments, both big and small, and finding ways to nurture that happiness in our everyday life. Happiness is an emotion that comes and go, but when it comes, we always celebrate it. Whether it's big or small, like I said, because you have to cherish those moments. Those are the moments that has bonded us throughout our relationship, where we can go back and reminisce and talk about and laugh about and smile about, and it brings that joy into my heart every time we do. So sharing those moments are very important. One thing that we wish every married couple would practice regularly is